On a surprise episode of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Coldplay's Chris Martin revealed his special relationship with two BTS members, Taehyung, V, and Jungkook. This statement surprised many and made ARMY, as BTS fans are called, curious. What's really going on behind the scenes? Chris Martin begins by recounting his encounter with Taehyung. Who would have thought, behind his charismatic figure, Taehyung has a deep interest in classical art and photography. Chris revealed that they often had long discussions about jazz music of the 40s and 50s, as well as a collection of vinyl records. What's interesting about Taehyung is that he has an old soul. He was very interested in art, classical music, photography. We often found ourselves engaged in long conversations about LPs and jazz musicians from the 40s and 50s. Not stopping there, Chris also talked about Jungkook. He expressed his admiration for Jungkook's vocals when they worked together on the song My Universe. Although Jungkook was nervous during the recording, Chris gave him high praise. "Please tell JK that he is very impressive," Chris told the interpreter. This interaction made the ARMY around the world touched and proud. However, the most emotional moment was when Chris told about a special gift he gave to Jeon, another BTS member. Chris gives his personal guitar to Jeon, which is now considered a family heirloom by Jeon. I jokingly asked him, "Can I have this guitar?" And he said, "Of course. I am very happy. Now this is a family heirloom." Jeon's story. These revelations show the depth of the relationship between Coldplay and BTS, which is more than just a musical collaboration. It is a meeting of two different worlds, yet mutual respect and admiration. For ARMY, these stories add a reason to continue supporting their idols wholeheartedly. See Chris Martin's full interview on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. You can watch it through the following video. Chris Martin not only revealed his admiration for Taehyung and Jungkook, but also shared an in-depth story about how BTS has changed his view of the music industry. "I never thought that I would be so inspired by a group from another part of the world," says Chris. "They have a unique way of conveying emotion through music, something completely different from anything I've experienced before." This recognition certainly makes the ARMY more curious. What exactly makes Coldplay so close to BTS? When he first heard about the possibility of working with BTS, Chris Martin admitted that he was hesitant. Not because they doubt their abilities, but because they feel that Coldplay and BTS are from different worlds. However, everything changed when he finally met the members. "I went to Korea and met them. What I immediately realized was how humble, talented, and passionate they were. It was a very touching meeting," said Chris. One of the most shocking moments occurred while recording for My Universe. Jungkook, known as the Golden Magne, was very nervous when he first met Chris. But Chris encouraged him. "I looked at Jungkook and thought, this kid has a golden voice. But I also see that he wants to be perfect in everything, which makes him a little overwhelmed," explains Chris. "So I just said, relax, enjoy the music, and the results are amazing." Among all the members of BTS, Taehyung V has its own uniqueness that caught the attention of Chris Martin. Of all those he has worked with, Chris confesses that Taehyung is one of the most artistic artists he has ever met. He's not just a singer. Taehyung is a true artist. "The way he talks about art, classical music, and even photography fascinates me," says Chris. Taehyung is known for his deep, emotional voice, but many don't know that he also has a deep love of jazz and classical music. "We often talk about the music of the 40s and 50s. I didn't expect that a young idol from South Korea could have such a deep understanding of the music of that era," said Chris. The ARMY who heard this was certainly even more proud of Taehyung. It is not only known for its outstanding visuals, but also for its wide interest in the art world. To the surprise of many, Chris Martin revealed that the relationship between Coldplay and BTS is not just limited to musical collaborations. They have become best friends, sharing many things outside of work. "After this collaboration, we stayed in touch. We exchanged messages, talked about life, and even planned to meet again in the future," says Chris. In fact, Chris admitted that he often gets messages from Taehyung and Jungkook asking how he's doing. They talk not only about music, but also about life. "They want to know how I'm doing, how I feel." That's something very rare in this industry, he said. In addition to talking about Taehyung and Jungkook, Chris also reminisced about special moments with Jeon. In a surprise that was never expected, Chris gave his guitar to Jeon as a farewell gift before Jeon left for the army. I gave him my guitar, and I could see how precious it was to him. Chris said, "This moment was very emotional. It even brought some fans to tears." Jeon, who is known as the oldest Hyung in BTS, accepted the gift gratefully. "This guitar is now a family heirloom," Jeon said in an interview. With such a close relationship, many are wondering, will Coldplay and BTS collaborate again in the future? Chris Martin gave an answer that made the ARMY even more excited. "We never know what will happen, but I can say that BTS is part of my life now. If the opportunity comes again, I will gladly do it," he said. This statement immediately made ARMY hope that there would be more projects between the two legendary groups in the future. What was initially thought to be an unlikely meeting has now turned into one of the most memorable collaborations in music history. Coldplay and BTS have proven that music knows no boundaries, whether in terms of culture, language, or generation. Chris Martin not only admires BTS as artists, but also as incredible human beings. They're not just big stars. They are kind, talented, and affectionate people. "I feel lucky to know them," said Chris for ARMY. "This story is just one of many reasons to continue supporting BTS. And who knows, maybe in the future we will see even more surprises from them with Coldplay." Do you think BTS and Coldplay will collaborate again? Share your thoughts. The collaboration between Coldplay and BTS has opened many people's eyes to how music can bring different cultures together. However, is their relationship only limited to professionalism? Or is there something deeper that the public doesn't know about? Chris Martin is known as a figure who is not easily impressed by other artists. However, with BTS, things feel different. In an interview with Jimmy Fallon, Chris suddenly revealed something he had never said before. "There's something about BTS that can't be described in words," he said with a smile. "When I met them, I felt like I was looking at a reflection of my younger self." What does that statement mean? Chris later explained that when he first formed Coldplay, he and his colleagues had to fight hard to be accepted in the music industry. They face a lot of criticism, are underestimated, and even go through moments of despair. "Looking at BTS, I can see a reflection of the same struggle," he said. "They work very hard, they never complain, and they remain humble despite being on top of the world." This sentence left Jimmy Fallon and the audience in the studio speechless. No one expected that Chris Martin would be so open in expressing his admiration for BTS. However, the surprises are not over yet. Chris later revealed that he had spoken privately with Taehyung and Jungkook about the pressure they felt as idols. "I asked them, do they ever feel exhausted? Do they ever want to give up?" The response he received was truly surprising. Jungkook, known as the Golden Magne, finally reveals something he has been hiding. "Sometimes I feel like I'm running without knowing when I can stop," Jungkook told Chris. "I love music so much, but there are moments where I feel like I'm losing myself." Taehyung, who is usually more reserved, also joined in the conversation. "We love ARMY, we love music, but the pressure is real," Taehyung said. "Sometimes I wonder, am I really happy?" Chris listened to the confession. As a musician who has been in the industry before, he knows exactly what it's like. "I told them, you're not alone. All great musicians have felt this. The important thing is to find your reasons for moving forward." Chris also reveals that he gave advice to Jungkook and Taehyung.